You are listening to MorningStar MindFux with Shay and Jordan. And now it's time to rewrite your inner programming and stretch our minds to infinity together tonight. Okay, welcome everyone. I believe this is episode number 4 of...
3, I thought.
No, it's 4.
Really?
Yeah, MorningStar MindFux.
Look at us go.
Yeah, so I know I told you on the last episode that we were going to talk about the ego in this episode, and we are. But we're going to do it in a different way. We may not cover all of the points of the ego that I want to discuss, because what we're going to do is we're going to discuss relationships and
how the ego plays into
how the ego plays into it, and fucking not just that, but like how to pull yourself out of a poor relationship and into a healthy, loving, holistic relationship, and not just necessarily pull yourself out of, but you can also correct a poor relationship into a holistic one.
Not necessarily find something new, but fix the current relationship that you are in.
Right. And I want to say too, like, this is very important to point out that, like, I've said it before, the quality of our lives is determined by the quality of the relationships that we keep. And that, when we speak of that, it means not just the relationships like our partner, but all of our relationships with all the people in our lives, as well as all the relationships that we have with everything, all inanimate things, ourselves, and like your relationship with, say, alcohol, if that's a problem for you, or your relationship with food, or your relationship with fucking exercise. Everything in life is relational.
Yeah.
So that's what that means. Another thing I want to point out before we dive in is, actually, 1 second here. I just want to see what this looks like. Does that look okay? Yeah, that's too fucking bright for me.
I don't know. I like it the other way. Way better. Yes, please. Thank you.
Anyways, sorry about that. Fucking poor quality shit. Anyways,
it's better.
Yeah. I wanted to say that, like, and I've already mentioned this in my other episodes, and I'm probably going to say it in every single episode. Beginner's mind. Approach this with a beginner's mind. Forget all the preconceived bullshit that you fucking thought you knew, and just have an open mind to these ideas. And if they serve you, keep them. And if they don't, then go back to believing what you want to believe. Right?
Yes, for sure.
Indicator right there.
Oh, okay.
Anyways. And then another thing I wanted to say, there was a reason why I wanted to say it. Let me see here for a second. Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, okay, so we're gonna be talking about relationships, like I said, and the ego, it plays a huge role in managing relationships, and not just that, but like managing your well-being and increasing your self-awareness and everything. You need to transcend your ego in order to do that.
I think self-awareness is like a foundational thing for all growth. Yeah. You need to have this self-awareness in order to work on yourself or get better, whatever. You need to know where you are before you can build on it. And if you don't have that self-awareness, you're, just throwing balls at a net and seeing what works and what doesn't, and it's not efficient.
Yeah. And so one thing that I know a lot of people who are on this journey strive for is the state of oneness. And like that could be said for like being one with the world around you, being one with the people around you, being one with the universe, with nature, whatever. Yeah. In order to achieve oneness, you have to transcend your ego as well, because the ego is the belief in separation. And that's basically all I wanted to like say before we got started. I know you have some shit that you definitely wanted to start talking about.
Well, yeah, when it came to like we said, self-awareness, when it comes to relationships, if you can't be aware enough to see where your behaviors in the relationship can be considered as toxic, then you can't grow. You cannot have a good healthy relationship if you're not willing to accept that, yes, I might be doing something wrong and I need to know that in order to fix it and continue the relationship. And a lot of times, when people kind of hear like their partners say, like, look, you did this that upset me, they get into a defense mechanism where it's like they want to defend, why they behave that way. You did this to me, or you did this to me, or I have anger issues because my mom or dad did this to me, or stuff like that. You need to let all that go, because none of your reasons for behaving that way matter to your partner. All that matters is the fact that you are behaving that way towards them and it's hurting them. And let you can let go of everything else and just realize, like, okay, so I am doing this person feels like it's not okay, and I have to choose whether I'm okay to fix it or not. And then their partner is free to choose whether they can learn to live with or they're out. And you need to be okay with that.
Let's be a little bit more specific and provide some examples for them, like from our own relationship. In the beginning of our relationship, it was fucking extremely toxic. It's a wonder that we're still together.
It was, for us, it was very fun. It was extremely,
there was
extremely fun.
A lot of passion and everything, but we had a long way to go to get to where we're at today.
Yes.
And with regard to what she just said, I'm going to point out, like, in the beginning, so I grew up with a whole bunch of toxic relationships around me, and I just thought that that's how things were, and it became they became beliefs and like behaviors, which is like subconscious. So I wasn't consciously thinking about what I was doing in my relationship to her that was hurting her, and I had a lot of control issues.
Well, you felt you came into it with the feeling like you needed to protect, isolate the person that you loved, to protect them from whatever else. Right. That's what you grew up with. What I grew up with was kind of more like in anger, violence, like more of a violent thing to kind of maintain control and your own power and your own.
Yeah, so it can be said that we both had control issues in the beginning,
just in different ways.
In different ways, for sure. And whenever either one of us would say something to the other person, we would both get defensive. More so myself, but like, and make excuses and blah blah blah. And like she just said, I think the way you said that it doesn't matter to your partner about the reasons behind your behaviors. I think that's kind of,
it does matter, but in the context of, say, like, if there's an argument happening and you get defensive, you can't say, well, I'm like this because my mom was like this or whatever. In the context of having an argument, you need to be like, okay, well, like, regardless of why I'm like this, I am being like this and I have control over myself.
So you like I said in one of our previous episodes, like, your communication, it fucking has nothing to do with you or your intent. All that, like, your communication is how it's received.
Yeah.
And like, that's a very vital point to make. But like, once you have the awareness of the fact that you need to make some changes, and then you're able to explain it to your partner in a way that you guys are both on the same level and both willing to grow together, then that's when your reasons can come into play, and then they have more hold and more, like,
one thing is, like, when it comes to exactly what he said is, you can't just expect your partner to kind of get you. So if your partner is doing something wrong or whatever that bothered you or whatever, say, spending too much time on social media, whatever. So you have to be able to articulate yourself in a non-attacking manner and be like, okay, So, and not trying to start a fight, just be like, okay, so you've been spending too much time on social media or whatever, and I have insecurity issues, and it's kind of triggering those. Is there something that we can do to kind of rectify that to make me feel more comfortable? And then it's in a non-attacking manner, and it kind of opens the dialogue or whatever, and then you can go from there. If you're in a relationship where your partner like changes a freaking lock code on their phone all the time and won't let you see their social media, get the fuck out. Mm-hmm. But you need to be able to articulate yourself in a way where it doesn't come off as attacking, and your partner needs to be able to receive it in a way where it doesn't create defensiveness, because most of the time, unless you're in the middle of a heated fight, it's not like an attack on somebody's personal character. It's because somebody is hurt. When you're in the midst of like a really bad fight, a lot of the time people just say the worst shit that they can think of to hurt the other person because they feel hurt. Right. You can't grow from that. You need to have those conversations outside of a big blow up.
Right. And like there's 2 points that I want to make to that. So first of all, one thing that really helped us is like when you decide that you need to have some sort of conversation like that, and you feel like maybe your partner might get defensive or whatever, you guys need to come to some sort of agreement where you determine like, listen, we need to have some real talk right now. And when we have real talk, there's no fucking hurt feelings. There's no like none of this bullshit. I'm not trying to take a stab at you. I'm trying to fucking get to the bottom of a problem that's bothering me and explain how I am feeling.
And the words you choose matter.
Right.
So watch for that.
And so I know I said there were 2 things I wanted to say, and now I'm fucking drawing a blank on the second one. What were you saying though exactly? Just go over it briefly again.
Well, just that like you can't have a genuine conversation about something like that while you're in a heated blow.
Right, there you go. So that's exactly right. And like I just recently, earlier this year, I took a parenting course, and one of the fucking main things that I took from that parenting course was, and this can be used for all relationships because it's true for adults as well as kids. Once you're in fucking fight or flight, you no longer have access to your frontal lobe, and your frontal lobe is what like takes care of all of your executive functions like reasoning, problem solving, planning, goal setting, all that shit. None of that is, you're not even able to touch that.
You're like a caveman hunting and protecting your family. You're just
with your lizard brain. You have your fucking autonomic fucking brain, and that's it.
Yeah, you're just doing. You're not considering. You're not thinking.
Yeah, so you can't reason with one another. So if one of you is in fight or flight, fucking take some time.
Yeah, take a step back from it and go at it at a different time.
So a lot of the fucking teachings that Jordan and I are really big on, like I know we mentioned Aaron Abke a few times in the last episode, and I just want to say this stuff isn't from Aaron Abke in particular. One second.
Yeah, when it comes to the relationship stuff, for me, it's none of the relationship stuff I have gotten from outside. It's all stuff that I have learned and that has been validated from outside.
Right, stuff. And that's what I'm saying too. But we fixed our relationship on our fucking own, like blood, sweat, and tears.
And we've been through some horrible past relationships. That have allowed us to grow enough to the point where we were able to come together and grow together.
And like when we first got together, and this is important too, because I wanted to say, like, one of the things that, because we're going to integrate the ego into this talk and everything, and one of the things I wanted to say, because this talk can help people who aren't in relationships, like romantic relationships, as well, because authenticity is how you seek out and find new partners, or how you like build a great relationship. And in order to be authentic, you need to free yourself of your ego, and we'll get into that. But what I wanted to say was, when Jordan and I first got together, the very first night we spent together, we were both wholly authentic with each other, and
Yeah, so much.
then those behaviors started to come into play, and like our subconscious started to take over time because we spent all of our
Our
time together.
our kind of our addiction, our party stuff like that. It kind of all like mixed up. But the cool thing is like a lot of people who are in the kind of, alcohol, drugs, they're partying together. So, the relationships are working because they're all doing that shit together. But then when one or both of them decide to stop that, a lot of the time, especially if only one decides to stop it and the other one doesn't, a lot of times the relationship fizzles out. What I think is really, really cool for us is that happened many, many, many times, and we still were able to stay together because, at least for me, at the end of the day, I knew that there was something amazing there that
Well,
needed to be.
that's what I was just trying to say. Is like when we first got together, we were, like I said, wholly authentic with one another, so that whenever there was any fucking turmoil or hardships or whatever, we both at
He
the
still
bottom of
knew
the day,
me and I still knew him.
yeah,
So we kind of like my because I used to get anger issues and violent and stuff like that.
used to.
Okay,
Just
so
joking.
more so before, but and then so he knew that and he's heard why and everything like that. So essentially, and I am to this day fucking amazed that he's still here after everything. But what he would do is he would like I could be hammered, freaking out, trying to hit him over the head with a Patron bottle, and he would just be like, the most he would do is like bear hug me and hold me down. He's like, "You need to calm down. You need to relax," and that was started very early on in our relationship. So I know that he knew me well enough to just be like that co-regulation, and he still does that for me today,
Yeah,
and it
co-regulation is
works
huge.
so good.
That's another thing that I learned in that parenting course is co-regulation. I don't know if we talked about it in any previous episodes.
I'm not sure.
Basically, it's just if somebody's freaking out and they're in fight or flight, as long as you yourself are calm, that's the key. If you're calm, holding that person will help lower their heart rate. And then I also believe I made a post about this, but I also believe that our energies can extend outwards and help calm people.
Well, like when you walk into a room after two people have been fighting, which we experienced many times.
Yeah.
When you walk into a room and people have been fighting, you can feel it. And like for me, I have not yet figured out how to separate my own emotions from others. So I like when somebody else is having like negative emotions, anxiety or fighting or whatever, then I end up pissed off and cranky. But like if you're around somebody who, has like a calming energy or whatever, it can help. For me, what he does is he'll like give me a like whether I want it or not, I could be a complete raging bitch and he'll just run up and fucking hug me. Or if he makes me laugh, then it's all gone.
Yeah, and like
And
another really good example of this is like just recently we went to Jordan's Opa's funeral.
Yeah.
And like
so that would be my grandfather.
Yeah, and our like her family is nothing like us, and they're like extremely fucking Christian,
born again Christian, very devout.
We did not expect anything to like come of it. We just thought we would be off in our own little corner and then we would leave. But her auntie, like we sat and talked to them for a few minutes, and then like at the end of everything, she came up to me and she's like, "I really appreciated you being here, Shay. Your spirit is so loving and kind that it literally helped calm me down and help me get through this like terrible time." And
thank you, Auntie Kathy. Love you.
That blew my mind, and like I really appreciated it because I've seen it work with Jordan and with my son and everything, but to have somebody else bring that up is just very validating. And like I just want to point out like the fucking crazy rage fests that you have had are probably not going to help very many people because you're unique when it comes to that. So, yes, and but like for anger, like anger is one thing, but like just these insecurities that one has, or like the stresses and the depression and anxiety, all that stuff, you have no idea how much you place those things on your partner unconsciously. Mm-hmm. And it creates a whole shit ton of fucking problems between
especially like the worst part is that whole like body dysmorphia issue.
Yeah.
It like goes and it freaking makes me just sometimes just for no, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing?
That shit crazy. But anyways, so what I was saying about fucking, like, I know I started to talk about Aaron Abke, but this isn't really Aaron Abke. What it comes from is A Course in Miracles. That is sort of another channeled piece of work.
It is channeled, yeah.
Kind of.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be, a channeled work from the scientist who was channeling the spirit of Jesus.
Well, he wasn't channeling the spirit of Jesus. What happened was she claims that she was possessed to write this material. And whether it came from the fucking what?
Nothing. Well, like, because the word possessed has negative connotations.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that because I'm just trying to explain to these people how there was no like entity coming through. Like,
it was not an entity coming into her against her free will.
Right.
She had to okay it before the contact was allowed to happen. She could have stopped it at any time. And it states so in the book as well. So that's very important.
It's like fucking PhD level dissertation on fucking miracles, essentially.
Yeah. These were two very highly respected and like a scientist who began doing this work.
Did you read it?
Look into. I read the first little bit. Yeah, oh, okay. You kept taking it.
No, I know, because it fucking blew my mind how fucking crazy it was. But so in the Course of Miracles, or A Course of Miracles, they talk about relationships quite a bit, and so they have what they call special relationships and holy relationships. We're going to discuss those names right now for you guys because we don't want to keep using them. We want to be as secular as we can so that we're not like turning anybody off from our message.
Yeah.
So for special relationships, I think that that's too positive for what they are, but like
I think it's more of an ego-based relationships versus like what you would say is a bit.
I would have preferred the word dysfunctional, but to call it an ego-based relationship is fucking 100% true.
Yeah.
And like that sticks for sure. Yeah, go ahead. But so for the ego-based relationships or dysfunctional relationships, whatever we want to fucking call them, we're gonna call them ego-based from now on. You're welcome. I'm just gonna briefly describe what those are, how they're defined. And so it's a relationship that is either ego-based, like we said, or involved in some sort of trade, give or take. And that can get really fucking bad and unfair. A competitive relationship, like even like I'm talking about romantic relationships right now, but this can reflect on all types of relationships. But when it gets competitive,
especially like parental relationships, mother-daughter, father-son, those can get extremely competitive and become extremely toxic. So,
and they can also become very fear-based, but so can romantic relationships. Driven by ego's need for separation, using external bonds to fill internal lack. Things like romantic codependency, which is a fucking huge problem for most people.
Yeah.
Believing one's love will fix your self-esteem. That's also a huge problem.
Yeah, that it won't.
Nope. When they are distant, your mind will believe that you are inadequate. And it is a roller coaster of relief and despair. Another type of ego-based relationship would be like a friendship for validation. That's where you only hang out with certain people who
are less, who you deem less than you. That makes you feel better,
right? Like they'll bigger, feed into your fucking
they feed your ego. They make your head bigger.
And then the mentor-student identification or the guru complex.
Yes.
What do you want to say about that?
Well, a lot of people go and they look for, the mentor or the guru to kind of tell them how to be, how to live their life, and they completely give all of their power away.
Yeah.
Where each and every person has their own individual, like, wants, needs, thoughts, and everything like that. So you can't sit there and hand over yourself to another person and be like, be somebody that I like. They don't know, but they will. A lot of them, the what are they called, like the charlatans or whatever, will sit there and they'll tell you that, they can do this for you and everything like that. They can't. What you need to do with the mentor or the guru, listen to them, take in what, like you said before, what resonates with you, leave what doesn't, and work with it yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody else can fix you.
No.
Only you can fix you, and that's a big part in relationships as well. Is you can't look to a partner to make you feel good about you.
Yeah,
because that will never happen. Because if you don't feel good about you, then what will happen is, even if your partner showers love on you and everything like that, if you don't feel secure, you won't trust that person. And you will put all this negative shit on them, and you'll sit there like, oh, they don't love me, they're not attracted to me, da da da. And it's not coming from them, it's just you. So it all needs to be you taking the learning and do with it what you will, but it's all on you.
Right. Another type of ego-based relationships would be achievement addiction. That's when you like go on Facebook and you like fish for likes and all this shit, and you try to get attention from people just to like uplift your self-esteem.
It's the thirst.
Yeah. And these ego-based relationships contain elements of fear and guilt because it is based on past judgments and imagined needs. And they are also unstable and shifting, as its love depends on changing conditions and never rests on truth alone. So you're like in a relationship with somebody that
you have an expectation that they need to meet,
right,
that will help you heal something within yourself.
Right. And I'm not sure if
they'll never make that.
If we jump down the road of expectations on the podcast yet. I think I only did it like with Brennan, but
one thing that like I really so, and it's an anecdotal thing, but I think it's kind of it like works with this. So in my hometown, it's a running joke that, once it starts to get cold, all the guys find a girl to shack up with so that they're not outside when it's cold. And that's like, it's sad how often that happens, and then it gets warm out and it's just like relationship over, whatever. I unfortunately grew up in a very, very ghetto place.
Right.
But it's a very codependent, like, it's like, I'm with you because of what you can do for me.
Yeah, that's that whole trade, give and take fucking nonsense.
Yeah. And you need to, a big thing for me is like, if your partner says to you, because they'll like drag you in and suck you in with things like, I don't know what I would do without you. Wait. I don't know what I would do without you, or I need you, and stuff like that. If your partner only ever says, I need you, but never says, I want you, then they're using you. Because you want your partner to be there because they want to be, not because you are fulfilling a need for them, whether it be like food and shelter or whatever, or some fucking validation or anything. You want your partner to be there because they want to be there.
Okay, but like I just want to say that,
and
like,
it's entrapment.
Anybody who would be listening to this is on a path of self-discovery, and there won't be any fucking losers who are using people like that. So,
well, no, that's everywhere though. There are that those people
no, but like
everywhere.
they may be everywhere, but they're not going to be listening to our podcast because they're not on a fucking path of growth.
Yeah,
If they're
but you know what? They
if
could
they're
be.
that low on their fucking
But I was
development,
in, like,
then
when I first started my whole personal growth and stuff like that, I was in that kind of relationship was what drew me
but
to
you
the path
weren't
of growth.
the person on that end. You were
I was,
the one being used.
yes, yeah, I know.
So what I'm saying is people who have that kind of mentality will not be on YouTube looking for personal development videos and shit.
I fucking was. I was trying to get
But you
freaking
didn't. Like I'm just trying. Like I just said,
advice.
you weren't the one using. You were the one being used.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is for the people out there who are in these toxic relationships to be able to see, like, if they are in a certain relationship that they are in fact being used, because to invest your heart, your soul, your time into something that you expect and want to be a long lasting thing, that in the other person's eyes is more of a means to an end. I don't want anybody to waste their time, especially, like, for me, like 8 years of your fucking time. It screws with you so bad. I don't want so that to happen. So I want people to be able to recognize those signs, so that they can end it and move on to something better.
And it
That's
is
it.
what like that's
It
what needs
needs
to be
to
pointed
end.
out because you can't fucking fix people and you can't change
No.
people unless they want your help, and then you can only help them.
Yeah.
You can't change them.
You can never change a person who doesn't want to change themselves, and even then, all you can do is like give them points, like, there, oh hey, there's this, or hey, there's that, but everything when it comes to that is all on that person. So when you're seeking out a romantic partner, don't seek out, like, the bad boy that you think will freaking, you could change to just love you and he'll quit all of his shit. Don't do that. Trust me, it doesn't fucking work.
There's that, but that's just for fucking women. And like what I want to say is, don't seek out anybody who isn't on your level. And if they're not being genuine, you can fucking tell almost immediately when somebody's being fake, or when they're not being their true selves. Don't waste your time on shit like that. If you're truly trying to grow, then like first of all, love yourself.
Yeah.
And work on yourself. And if somebody is right for you, they will fall into your life. Don't go seeking somebody with desperation and fucking.
No. The air of desperation repels. And for girls out there, I want to fucking say, don't ignore the red flags because the dick is good. You can have that without the relationship, find something and let that go. Don't. There's red flags everywhere immediately.
And that's the same with men too. Don't just fucking hook up with some chick because she's good looking. Like there's so many good looking fucking toxic bitches out there.
Yeah. If you can match together intellectually, I think that's a really good, really important thing, is like, if you can't sit there and like have a conversation with a person without having to like give them a dictionary to look up every second word you fucking say.
There's so many different things when it comes to searching for a partner, and I don't want to go down that road. I just want I want this video to help people who are already in a relationship that they believe is going to work, or help those people get out of that relationship, and to also help people who have other relationships with their familial fucking.
And we're really good at going from what was, I guess, technically classified as a toxic relationship to something that is really great, mutually beneficial, right, and everything like
that. If the love is there, you can do it, and like just reach out to us. We'll help you kind of get through
as
that
long
stuff.
As both people are willing to grow and grow together.
Yeah,
it's you'd be amazed by what you can accomplish, and then you get to a point where you look at your partner and you just like, oh, love you so fucking much.
Yeah, like it's amazing. how just being authentic fucking fixes everything, all your problems.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to briefly talk about the opposite side of these ego-based relationships, which are what the Course in Miracles calls holy relationships, but we're going to call it holistic relationships.
Yeah.
I think that word fits better.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to briefly discuss that, and then we're going to talk about the ego and how to transcend the ego so that you yourself can be authentic and recognize authenticity in other people. What?
Well, I just want to make sure you don't wait too long, because then not that.
I've been fucking. Don't worry about it.
Okay, well, if you wait too long, you'll get a headache. That's all I'm worried about.
So, holistic relationships are free of fear and guilt. That's huge. And do you feel fearful in our relationship, or
I don't feel guilt in our relationship. I feel a fear where, like, to be completely honest, I feel a fear that you're gonna leave me for
that's
somebody better.
shit fucking
But
crazy.
So, I'm aware that it's insane.
No. But what you there. Don't understand is that it's so fucking crazy that I should have just smacked you before you started speaking.
Could have been fun.
That can be left off camera. I'm not gonna smack her, but I'm gonna tell her how fucking nuts she is. We have this talk all the time, and she still doesn't fucking hear me.
That's where I need to reprogram my own narrative. I'm learning with you guys.
Yeah, and actually, that's another really good point that I want to make is like we are fucking me and her. We're on the same level when it comes to a lot of things, but we're also at different points when it comes to some of our growth, like different aspects of growth when it comes to spiritual things. I think,
and we're both very self-aware, so we know where we're lacking and where we know we need to grow and stuff like that, and it works for us. There's
different things that like she may be better at than I am, and she helps me with those, and then I'm better at other things. And like in particular, this whole ego talk that I've been so desperately wanting to have with you guys. It's not even that I want to have it with you. It's that I've literally been waiting to make these points to her so that she can see my perspective and like the perception that I know is going to unlock these thoughts in her mind so that she can start to harness the things that I've already started to factor into my life. And a lot of this stuff I started to digest and I came to understand it years ago. Mm-hmm. But then things got bad for me and I had a relapse and everything. But I didn't know that in that time, in the background, these ideas and concepts were running like
it's still it sat there. They connected to each other. Right. You had the neurons firing. You had the connections.
It was made. A program that was already fucking running in my subconscious. And then when I come out of it and I jump back into my growth journey and I like look at these things, I'm like, holy fuck.
It's all still there.
Not just all still there. I've come such a far away from where things used to be and I wasn't even fucking trying. Mm-hmm. So that's really cool.
Building those those connections and everything like that are extremely important.
And you can't unlearn that shit. Once you so a
once
belief
the connections are there,
right,
they stay.
A belief is just an idea that you've come to understand and an idea that you've given enough energy that
you identify with.
Yeah, and then it no longer becomes something that's in your conscious awareness, but it's something that becomes a part of your personality.
Yes.
So that's fucking... But anyways, I'm just going to finish these last holistic relationship traits. They're founded in unconditional, changeless love that reflects true perception. And this is obviously just the opposite of the ego-based relationships.
Yeah.
They're steady and unchanging as it transcends the ego and serves only on the purpose of awakening. And that's huge. When Jordan and I, so if we were to characterize our relationship as either an ego-based relationship or a holistic relationship, obviously the lines are blurred a little bit with all of this, just like everything with like your spiritual growth, spiritual intelligence, all that stuff. There is no fucking definitive line. Same with the 7 densities that we spoke about. There's no door you walk through. But I would say that we are much more holistic than we are ego based.
Yeah.
And one of the things that helps define that is the fact that our relationship is very much based on the purpose of awakening. We both want to help each other become better selves.
Well, and then another big thing that we used to talk about this a lot, and it kind of messed with us, is like we would end up in these positions in our lives where like one of us would be ready and okay to grow and better ourselves, and the other person would be struggling, and we would literally trade this back and forth, and we've been together 12 years now.
Yeah.
And we would trade it back and forth, and it really sucked. And so, but now we've kind of finally
caught up to one another,
gotten to a point where we're growing together.
Well, I wouldn't say finally. We've been growing together this entire time.
Well,
however,
yes,
there were,
but it's like kind of been like one person supporting the other,
exactly, helping,
and that kind of thing.
But now it's like we're both kind of fucking climbing the same ladder.
And some days will be different. Like some days, I'll need more support, and he always has that, and exceeds that, and vice versa. Like we're both there for each other's needs when we need them, because we know what are like the needs are.
Right. And then, like if I like she just said, I'm always there and whatever. And if there's something that's bothering her that I'm unaware of or unfamiliar with, I will fucking figure it out.
Yeah, but because he pokes and pokes, and he'll freaking get it. He'll tickle it out of me.
Right, and then
he knows.
For myself, if I'm suffering for some reason, I tend to keep it in a little bit longer than she does. But as soon as I bring it up, like literally the fucking second I bring it up and I mention whatever it is that I'm suffering with in my mind, just the fucking act of speaking to her about it helps me. And then she'll say something almost like the first sentence she says, and I was like, oh, okay, that's over.
Yeah.
And it's miraculous.
And like the thing is, like, and a lot of people do this where say they have like a concern or something's bothering them, something that their partner did or whatever that's making them feel insecure or a little bit paranoid. I literally just went through this. And if you don't speak or say anything to your partner about it or ask them about it, you'll spiral in your mind. It will end up being the worst thing you could possibly conceive of, and then that will become your truth. And before long, it will become your truth so much that regardless of what that person says, once you do confront them about it, it won't matter. You have solidified your narrative.
Right.
So what you need to do is speak to your partner about it. And you know what? Like, honestly, women have a very good intuition. So if they're fucking lying about it, you'll know it.
Not just women, we all can, like, honestly, this fucking planet,
we're better with the intuition.
Nonsense. This planet that we're on right now, like we told you guys in the last episode,
we all have intuition. Yes.
Fucking growing from 3rd density to 4th density, and I can guarantee you there isn't a person out there that can't tell when somebody's lying to them.
Okay, well, I don't know. We talk about this a lot, where it's like we're looking at it, and it's like, how do you not look? But I guess that's TV shows.
No, yeah, it is with entertainment, but not just that. Like when I look at some of our like family members, I think it's more the people who are lying.
It's a choice not to fucking see it.
Well, no, not that. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, but I believe that might be true. But I think that the people who are lying are the ones who believe that, like,
they believe their lies so much that it comes out as a truth.
No, not even that. I believe that they're the ones who are fucking. They're convinced that they're getting away with it, that they're convincing the people around them with their bullshit, when really it's like, we can all fucking see that you're lying.
I know.
Everybody around you can tell that you're fucking lying.
But what frustrates me is like all the people around people that can tell that they're lying, not only do they not call it out, they assist in perpetuating the lie. But like, why? For what?
Just because a lot of people are fucking anti-conflict. But what I want to say is, we are all like heading towards a new way of life, a new world,
a new paradigm.
And in that fucking paradigm, we are like,
okay, hold on. Seriously? The whole like telepathic communication thing is insane.
That's what I was just going to talk about.
Okay, because so I was sitting there and I took my drink and I was like, okay, I want to have a smoke. And I was halfway between like looking over here and gravitating my eyes towards the cigarettes, and he freaking grabs the smoke because he's trying to get me to quit smoking. So he grabs them and goes to light them. Okay, no, he's succeeding. Yes, baby. But like, we have it's amazing the things we can do, and we got to do like, that ions test.
Careful. Literally, what I was gonna say, that ions test, yes, that's cool. We should talk about that briefly after. But
yes,
what I was literally just about to say before she fucking piped up about that was, I was gonna talk about how this world is moving towards a part, like an existence where everybody will be on a closer frequency. We won't all be so staggered, and then we will all end up eventually having telepathic communication. Is literally what I was just about to say, and then I just demonstrated telepathy for you.
Again. And that's the thing, is that's how it's supposed to be. Is we as a mind body spirit complex on planet Earth are supposed to evolve into a societal complex where we are all connected. You know, everybody's a human. Who cares?
A social memory complex.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
We're all human. Doesn't matter what color you are, what freaking weight you are, what height you are, what language you speak. Doesn't fucking matter. We're all still human.
Mm-hmm.
And so, our evolution is, that's kind of the marker, is where we can be like, we are all human, and it doesn't matter all the other little fucking stupid things and the borders and all of that stuff. And with that comes the telepathic stuff. I highly recommend looking up the telepathy tapes. It is something really amazing, and it shows that
who's that from?
Well, I'm not sure who it's from, but what it is it shows how autistic people are able to telepathically communicate with their caregivers, like their parents or whatever.
Right.
And because they are, and we, like, a lot of society looks at them as disabled, where in reality they are highly energetic, elevated souls.
A lot of them have like savant syndrome and stuff like that, so they're fucking but like, that's a whole other fucking thing.
Yes.
But I think pretty much everybody we're speaking to right now, anybody who's like willing to listen to something like this, can have some sort of personal experience that relates to telepathy and just being on the same level with another person.
And it's like, it could be the littlest things, like you're thinking of somebody and then they call you, or like the other day, Shay and I can't remember what it was, but we were both thinking of the same thing the day before, and I said it, and he was like, I was just thinking that. I was like, yeah, I was thinking about that yesterday. He's like, me too.
That shit happens all the fucking time. I will say something and she was like, I was just about to say that, or I will like, do something that she was about to ask me to do.
Yeah, it's I'll think something endless. Like, I'll be thinking about something and then I'll decide, like, oh, I don't want to say it or whatever, and then he will.
And it's
the coolest thing.
Here's a scientific fucking fact. Our ideas and our thoughts have electromagnetic properties, right? and the energy field that we give off an electromagnetic fucking field.
Yeah.
And
wasn't there 3 people who invented calculus at the exact same time?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of fucked up shit like that.
Yeah.
I think like the walkie-talkie was invented by 2 or 3 different people at the same fucking day.
There's many things like
but so like those, you're sending that shit out into the ether, out into the fucking field. But like when you're right next to somebody, the change is fucking crazy. And
yeah, like I can like when we're next to each other, and it drives me fucking bonkers because I can feel where like he'll think something and he'll go to say something and then he'll change his mind and not, and I can feel that energy.
Yeah.
And it drives me fucking bonkers because it's like, what do you want to say? But I like because like, but I could feel like his mind going, and he goes to say something and then he changes his mind. And
yeah, like, I can attest to that too. I can tell when there's something that goes unspoken. Yeah. So, before I dive into the whole ego thing, because we have at least an hour and 10 minutes left. Like we can go as long as we want, but I'd like to aim for the 2-hour mark. You had mentioned fuck off. Yeah, well, you had mentioned the ions test. Just tell these folks.
Okay.
What that is.
So ions, I can't exactly remember what it is, but it's
wait, it's an acronym, IONS.
Yes. They study
I would look it up, but I don't have access to
it. Like psychic abilities and spirituality in a very, very scientific format. And like I've signed up for their newsletters and everything like that, and they had sent me an email about an experiment that they are doing about telepathy and stuff like that, where it comes to like twins, where twins often will have, like, if one has a stomach ache and they're on one side of the world, the other twin will feel it on the other side of the world. Well, and they sent it to me because she and I have that very much mind meld.
That's a fucking show with the Star Trek.
Yeah, I know. I knew you'd love mind meld things, so we are gonna sign up for that and see how that works. But they do have many like research things that people can participate in if they do have these experiences, not just what I was talking about, but there's many different ones. Go into my email, babe.
This is it, the Institute of Noetic Sciences.
Institute of Noetic Sciences. My dream job. This is what I've always wanted, is to be able to research consciousness and the effects it has on our reality, which I know it's all the effects that are in our reality. It's amazing. So this place is amazing.
And that's what I love about like doing this with Jordan, and like we both have our own personal interests, although we do like a lot of the same shit, but we made this kind of agreement as soon as we decided that we were going to do this whole Morningstar thing, that we would both like search up our own different our own different interests, and then we would combine them together, and then that way we have more to talk about with you guys.
Well, it works out perfectly because even our individual things end up being related to each other.
Right. So yeah, and then exactly, it's been flawless with like that whole collaboration thing and like coming together. So I think that's cool, and like she'll find something like that, like the whole ions thing. She's mentioned it to me a couple times, and like I just haven't looked into it. I just Googled it for you guys to figure out what it was like specifically, and it fucking tripped me out, and I want to look it up myself now.
Yeah, so it really is incredible.
I'll just share the website with you guys, and then we'll start talking. So it's noetic.org, noetic.org.
And you can participate in their research studies. There's there's many things to learn from them, and anything you can contribute to them contributes to the research that they are doing to prove what consciousness and everything can do.
And what was the whole thing that like we were gonna do for research with them?
It was a telepathy research thing where, and it can come from some, like I said, something as simple as you thinking of a person and all of a sudden they call, which I know a lot of people have experienced, or they're particularly interested in twins, where one twin can feel something or whatever, or like romantic relationships that are truly connected, where you can really like you share thoughts and things like that. So
okay, so let's dive into the whole ego discussion. And like, I want to, this is something that, like I said, I've been fucking passionately waiting for, because I wanted to have this whole talk with Jordan. A lot of this information came from Aaron Abkey. We've mentioned him, but it's not just him. All like it's the stuff that I have jotted down on all my notes and everything. It comes from all of the fucking life sciences that I've been like diving into: mindfulness, CBT, NLP, all that shit.
Yeah, for the last like 6 years.
Yeah, and Joe Dispenza, his whole neuroscience and all that. So, again, I just want to touch on the fact that ego is the belief in separation. I can't remember if in the last episode we discussed how like ego came to be. Did we?
I'm not sure.
I know we had to talk between me and you, so I'm just going to go over it again. And if we already talked about it, I apologize. Bear with me. But ego came into existence. It's a product of evolution. And like our fucking earliest of ancestors, and I'm not even talking about like human, like Homo sapien.
Hominid.
I'm talking about like fucking
caveman shit?
Before caveman shit. Even like monkeys, when they started fucking grunting and coming up with sounds to identify things.
Or identify each other.
Right, identify each other. And then as soon as one monkey was able to communicate, I am fucking this, who are you? Yeah. That is when
self-awareness.
That is when the ego was born. It's not, like, I wouldn't call it self-awareness. I think that's fucking...
Well, no, because if you sit there and go, if you're able to discern between yourself and another, that is the awareness of identity. Self.
Right. Okay, so yeah, whatever. It's identity.
Yes.
So like I said, ego is a product of evolution. Yeah. And it's the belief in separation. Like everything in nature, the ego knows how to get its food source. It knows how to survive, right?
Get its mates, like the baboons with the most like colorful like back end would get the female, so they would compete for that to get the female. So
well, no, but like what this is like
it is like what aids life in procreation.
No, any life in its base fucking survival knows how to obtain its food source. Like fucking trees fucking grow towards the sunlight, and fucking
true.
Amoeba knows how to find its fucking nonsense, and all fucking animals know how to seek out their food.
Yeah. Even without thinking, because ancient humans, they didn't know shit.
No,
and they went and they found their stuff to
sustain. It's a part of their fucking core makeup, right?
Yeah.
And that's the same with the ego. Profile. The ego's food source is your energy, your attention. Where you place your attention is where you place your energy. And so if you're to focus on something negative, you're feeding your fucking energy into that negative fucking thing. And the ego has come up with some very fucking crafty ways of stealing your attention and stealing your focus. Over millions and millions of years, it has come up with some fucked up tricks to grab your attention.
Yeah.
And then in your personal lifetime, ever since you were a baby, the ego has been there fucking the whole time, watching what happens and watching what gets a rise out of you.
Essentially telling you how to be you.
Not even that, but like
not allowing you to.
It tells you. It can tell what irks you, what fucking gets you worked up,
and what it perpetuates that fucking cycle.
And it'll use that and all. Yeah. It'll use that knowledge against you so fucking strategically.
Yeah.
And like one of the things that Aaron Apke said that fucking blew my mind and made me fucking like, it empowered me a lot was the ego is a fucking worthy opponent.
Oh, yes.
And when you come against your ego, it's like a fucking chess match, and you just need to kind of sit back, watch what's happening, and fucking plan your strategy.
Bitch all the time,
right?
And I need to get stronger because a lot of the times I lose.
So, like, the reason why I've been waiting to have this talk with Jordan is because, like, I'm not saying that I've transcended my ego yet, but I'm well.
He's definitely better at it than I am. And we're working and he's helping.
I see it with her. It's affecting her so much on a daily basis, and it still does that to me too. But like I'm just a little bit like ahead of the curve, and there's certain things that I'm able to fucking brush off that I watch her completely get consumed by. So, the fight or flight, like we've talked about a few times, is the ego's fucking greatest weapon against you. And that's simply because it will find these things, these emotions, these memories that trigger fight or flight, and it will constantly feed them to you.
You know what I was thinking is like, so when I was watching the Dr. Joe Dispenza thing, and it was about the fight or flight.
Yeah.
And he was talking about stress and everything like that, and how stress ignites the fight or flight and it drives people forward. And it made me think of like my mom, how she runs on stress. That is her, like I said, anger is my willpower, stress is hers. And she runs on stress. She eats once a day, but she can't figure out why her body's kind of like defeating her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's essentially what it is she's identifying with
her ego.
With her ego, which is like the stress emotion, which is how she feels like she runs. That's her motor.
And as soon as you
I'm kind of doing the same thing.
So in order to like transcend your ego is self-awareness. And you need to just become aware of all of these fucking tricks that it has up its sleeve. And we'll get to it. But forgiveness is the fucking key. Mom, forgive. Everybody forgive.
Everybody thinks like, or not everybody, but a lot of people think, forgiveness is giving a pass to the person or event that hurt you, making it okay. That's not what it is.
That's
what forgiveness is looking at that traumatic event or that person or whatever and being like, you don't have fucking power over me anymore.
Right.
I am too powerful to identify with this shit. I'm gonna let it go. So take it as like, instead of I'm forgiving the person or whatever, and just be like, I am forgiving myself for identifying with that trauma. I'm better than this. Move on. And that can like for me, if I kind of look at it in that like frame, where it's more like it's me, it's not how whatever incident is affecting me, then I can personalize it and transcend it.
Right.
And it's like that, like that's whatever, you're freaking nothing for causing that, and I'm over it. And you don't have to identify with that anymore. You become your own person, not your trauma.
And like, so she made very fucking great points right there. And when we dive into, like, because I just want to finish talking about the ego in itself, and then I have a whole lot to say about forgiveness. And a lot of it was what she just said, but it will get even fucking greater than that.
Yeah.
So the more separated you feel, the more control your ego has over you. That's because, like I just said, the ego is the belief in separation. and people feel separated basically by everything.
It's like honestly a big part of it is like at least like what I have experienced is a sense of inadequacy. You have that separation from people because you don't feel good enough, or like you are good enough, smart enough, cool enough, whatever, to identify with anybody else. So you sit there in isolation hoping to, reach that point where you can engage. But instead, what you do is you sit there in this same thought process that keeps you in that state, and you can't move through it. You can't get the new experience to get the new thoughts to help you. So
right. And
that
like
sense
so
of inadequacy, like you're not good enough, will take you into this black hole spiral that is really difficult to get out of.
that's just another fucking
Yeah.
tool that the ego uses against you, that fucking belief in inadequacy. And
Yeah, I am
like
currently climbing out of that hole, but I'm climbing out of it and I'm making progress.
so like Joe Dispenza was saying, like you're fucking he says that like 90% of the thoughts that you have today
80,
are the
yeah,
exact same thoughts you had the day before. And so
indeed.
these same
Yeah.
thoughts trigger the same emotions that trigger the same behaviors, and then
It
it
perpetuates the
keeps going
same
around in
life.
the same circle. And like
Yeah. If you do not, um, if you don't change your thoughts, which you can do with meditation practices. I actually like have it. It's like, so there's, where the fuck is it? So there's meditation.
not
Um,
that page.
you know what? I only have one page, don't I? Yeah, I do. Where's the arrows? Anyways,
You have lots of pages.
oh, there it is. Okay, so so it's new thoughts lead to new choices, lead to new behaviors, lead to new experiences, which lead to new emotions, new thoughts, and that in itself leads to biological changes.
Right.
So if you're sitting there in the exact same environment, nothing changes, there's nothing new, you don't do anything else, you're in that same autopilot, like you wake up, you go to work, you take care of your kids, you go to bed, you wake up, go to work, take care, and you're miserable. That is going to continue until you break that and do something else.
Step outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And like that is a whole other fucking topic that we'll get into. I think we're gonna pair that up with our meditation talk.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
The whole neuroscience thing.
Yeah.
But so the ego, another trait of the ego is that it must be an unconscious movement, which means that the ego can only act when you are unaware of what it's doing. So in order to fucking stop it from doing this bullshit, you need to bring your awareness, like your focus, into what your ego is doing, and by meditating is the best way to do that.
We have a kind of a different, not necessarily a difference of opinion, but like two methods when it comes to um dealing with the ego. So a lot of things say, when it comes to the thoughts that the ego puts in your head,
Oh yeah,
to
okay.
ignore it, don't give it energy or whatever. And that is very sound advice. Personally, for me, what worked is, a few years ago, I was in a great place in my life, I was like succeeding and very, very happy, and I would just be like in my kitchen cooking supper, and all of a sudden I would get these thoughts that would pop into my head, like I fucking hate my life. And then I would just think like, no, I don't. But I would either say it out loud, or I would say it in my head loud enough, like to that thought, like, you're fucking idiot. No, I fucking don't. And it took maybe 2 weeks, and it went away, where I would contradict the thought. Okay. There is another thing you can do.
So what I want to say is, like, it's not that I have a difference of opinion. Like,
There's a different method.
No, it's not even that it's a different method. What I think is what you're talking about is step one, and what I am talking about is the next step that comes after that. I think like definitely not arguing, but like opposing your ego's fucking inner shitty self-talk, or the
directly
the negative
it.
automatic thinking. When you hear like I hate my life, you say no I don't, I love my life. And when you repeat that process, that first of all, that's bringing awareness to the negative thought, and second, it's counteracting it. But even if you have a thought that says I love my life and it keeps saying that, that's still your ego, and you need to learn how to not pay any mind to any thoughts that are like ego based, exactly.
Right. But so if say you have the narrative thought of I hate my life, and you can't like contradict that, where you tell your ego, no I don't, I fucking love my life.
Right.
So your ego is sitting there telling you like you gain a new narrative where it's like the random thoughts that pop in your head is I love my life. So that will help you reprogram your inner narrative. And if you can maintain that for a bit where it becomes you, it's your personality, it's you, it's who you are, then I think would be a good time to try to like you know battle the ego
Well,
and get rid of it.
Here's
If
what I
you
want to
do
say.
it if you try to battle the ego before you get a new narrative, then what you could end up in is this kind of like this purgatory of unawareness of self.
Well, so what I want to say is like I agree with you, but like I've managed to battle my egoic thoughts when they are negative. I don't even bother trying to change them anymore. Not because like I ignore them, and I don't feed them my energy. Not because like I don't think that I would benefit from a different narrative, because I certainly would. But and like so what you're talking about is changing the narrative of your inner like self-talk, and that's a great thing, and some people will only make it to that point.
Yeah, and but that at the same time, that is a huge point for somebody to be able, because it could change their entire
right. It can fucking change your life so much, and I'm not saying I'm not trying to
be a step to it.
I'm not trying to devalue that in any way whatsoever. And like what I'm talking about might be too much for somebody to try to even take on in the beginning. But like what I want to, I'm aiming for fucking enlightenment, right?
Yes.
I shoot for the stars with everything that I do. And I think that, and don't get me wrong, in the beginning I fucking rushed it too much and it impeded my progress, and I had to like it slowed me down. I probably would be way further ahead had I not rushed myself.
Yes.
But I'm not talking about necessarily ignoring, like, so say you decide to go about it by changing the narrative, changing these negative thoughts into positive thoughts. That's a huge fucking bonus. I'm not talking about trying to like disregard those thoughts. I'm just saying that what you're trying to do is
you're trying to change what the ego tells you, but
no,
it's still
not
the
at all.
ego
Not
at the end of the day.
Not trying to change anything that's said at all.
Okay.
Just being the observer is all I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's gonna be that's gonna be a difficult kind of thing for somebody to go from like the point where I like my life sucks, I want to change it, and going from like the observer.
I completely disagree.
I think a lot of people and this happens with a lot of things, is kind of the human mind wants to be given like, at least I know for me, it wanted to be given like steps, like give me a list of the shit I need to do and then I'll do it. But like if I looked at it from like I'm in this darkness spiral and I want to get to this light and there's one thing to get me to the light, I would overwhelm myself and I'd crash.
I want to just say something right now, like what you're telling yourself right now and what you just said is your ego hanging on to your attention. You say it's difficult to go from telling myself that I hate myself to observing my thoughts. That is nonsense.
You know what?
It
You're
would
right.
not be difficult. Your ego is trying to trap you and tell you that you're incapable of doing something.
You are right, because so previously I was able to go from here to there and it was perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm trying to, because I have regressed and I'm trying to go from here to there, and I am trying to, I feel like, or my ego's telling me that I need to go through this step by step.
Yeah,
Essentially, the 12-step progress of spirituality
you're
in order
convincing
to
yourself
get
of
it.
inadequacy, and that's fucking not
Yes,
true.
and that is
Please don't
a
spread that.
huge, and like I said, I'm growing with you guys. We are growing with you guys, but and that is a big hindrance for me, is the feelings of inadequacy, which are hindering me from doing things that can make me feel adequate. It's
Right.
so stupid.
So
It's a perpetual cycle that the ego freaking inflicts on you to keep you below it so that it can control your being and
you
your
agree?
personality.
You agree with what I'm
Yes.
saying now?
Yes, I do.
So what I want to just point out is what she was saying. I'm not trying to devalue it. Changing your self talk is fucking so important.
Yes,
it
is.
I did do it too. I'm not gonna say I didn't do it. I definitely did it, but now I'm trying to fucking just completely skip that step because I think that it's just another way for your ego to hang on. But if it helps you in any way, just like I said, take anything we say, and if it serves you in a positive way, then
Awesome.
fucking
Use it.
use it.
If you're
If
not,
it doesn't, then
let it go.
right.
And you know what? For me, what has happened is like I have dived into many things, and like, what is it? So 8 years ago, what like worked for me and woke me up and everything like that and changed my life was incredible. And then when things kind of went downhill for me, I looked to that again, and it wasn't registering, it wasn't clicking. And then I looked into things that wasn't clicking then, that's working for me really well now.
Right.
And everybody needs to realize that you will connect and resonate with things in the manner that you're supposed to, where your energy is, what your soul needs.
Your lessons will come to you as you need them.
Yes. So what I recommend is, don't stop exploring. Don't, slough anything off. Uh, Keep looking into things on, like, periodically, and you will find something that, like, for us, we could be listening to something and we could be struggling so hard with the concept, or like, something about ourselves or whatever, and we'll watch an episode on Gaia, and somebody will say something, one sentence, and it clicks.
Right.
And it's just the way somebody says something.
Perspective.
Yeah. And it's put there, and you watch that and you hear that because you're supposed to, when you're supposed to. So expose yourself to as much of it as possible, and you will get everything you need in every moment.
And so, like, I just want to say another thing too. Like, we like for Jordan, what she just the realization that she just came to. I've been kind of holding back. I want Jordan to wait to watch these Aaron Abke videos again. She's seen them years and years ago, but like I've been wanting her to wait because there were some lessons that I wanted to like help. Like I wanted her to watch it while I was there, so I could like share my perspective and like help open her to the ideas from a different point of view. And one of them is like what you just kind of identified was people who are in the beginning of their phase where they're trying to learn and trying like identifying these negative self-talks and everything. Yeah. That's becoming aware of your ego and its entrapment, right?
Mm.
What you like you were trying to like by trying to change the things that the narrative that your ego has and all this stuff. That's something that Aaron Abke talks about, and he likens it to what he calls a spiritual ego.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily exactly the same as your particular ego of identity and separation, but instead it's like my spiritual ego did something to me that really fucked me up, and that was it made me get too excited about what I was seeing and forced me to act upon it too quickly, to take in too much information all at once, and then it impeded my progress and slowed me down.
Okay.
Now your spiritual ego is kind of trying to hold you back by telling you that like that's not what you need to do. What you need to do is just ride this out. You should use your anger to boost your willpower.
Okay.
That's your spiritual ego telling you a bunch of fucking bullshit.
Yeah, we need to explain that first off. So I was so lately
you explain it to the camera. I gotta go pee quick.
Oh yeah. Over the last few years I have felt extremely weighed down. There's a concept of somebody having the weight of the world on their shoulders. I have felt like I've had the weight of 3 worlds crushing my body. It felt like I couldn't move. My muscles hurt. It felt like I was constant. Every time I tried to stand up or walk, like I was moving through fucking concrete, like wet concrete, but like it was horrible. And it was, a lot of it was because of the stuff that I had dealt with when it came to Shay's addiction. And I have been trying forever and ever to try to get me back. The like it doesn't matter what anybody says or what anybody does. I'm going to show you all. It doesn't matter. I'm fucking awesome. I know it. Fuck you all. I was trying to get back to that. And I came to a realization that um that what I was lacking was that same willpower. And I realized that the willpower that I had stemmed from an intense anger. And so I have come to the conclusion that it is my anger that can fuel my willpower. That obviously worries Shay. But for me, and I'm probably, like I said, on the lower end. But my anger, or my anger towards other people for diminishing me or making me feel less than, drives me towards bettering myself. My anger towards Shay previously for
the resentments from the addiction. May I interject really quick?
Yes.
So like she had told me all of this stuff, and like she said, it worried me, but it like not so much what I wanted. Like I was more I knew that once I was able to articulate things to her in the way that I was seeing them, that it would unlock this fucking thought process in her head that would put her on the right path, that would help her transcend that. And basically what I told her to help her with it was, I get how your anger provides you with this motivation and willpower, and it gets you moving.
It gives me a comfort. It doesn't make me like how anger makes you feel sick or whatever.
But like that's just it. I want you to
fire in me.
I want you to get to the point where anger makes you feel sick.
But then what would I have?
I don't know. That's exactly what I was going to cover, and I already told you. But like, so what I want, like, she's at a point now where her anger is. So she heard Lee Harris say something while he was channeling, or at least describing one of his channel messages.
He was channeling where he said that anger is it's a base emotion. Everybody's going to experience it.
Did you take that out?
No. Did it fall out?
Yeah, it didn't fall out, but the stud fell off. Anyways, sorry. Like she was saying that, like all these, not just anger, but all your emotions, they're there for a reason, and they can help you.
Mm-hmm.
But what I wanted to explain to Jordan here,
I got it.
Okay, just take it out then.
Mm-hmm.
It fell off.
Yeah, I'll put it back in. It just screws in.
Oh, okay. Anyways, I told Jordan, like, look, it's good that your anger provides you with some sort of service and everything, but because anger is a lower frequency emotion, and it is, so I don't want to say negative emotion, that I'll explain why in a moment, but it's just, it's an emotion that will take you away from
spiritual evolution.
Right, spiritual evolution, spiritual intelligence. Mm-hmm. And if you can become aware of everything and what, like, you can bring yourself to a state of a higher frequency where you're in a state of love, more often than not, then love can be what drives your willpower instead of anger. And I had asked you, could you imagine if love was what got you out of bed in the morning or got you to do something? Like, I'm not saying anger is what gets you out of bed, because it's not.
No, but it could be.
But you even got done telling me that when you were trying to find some willpower, you were searching for something to be mad about, and you were having a hard time finding something to be mad about, and that just proves that you are at a higher fucking frequency than that emotion.
And I'm trying to force myself down
to a lower frequency. That's what concerns me. That is completely unnecessary. And so the reason why I was trying to say that, like,
well, because when you said, can you imagine yourself being driven by love, that's the thing. I can't imagine that, and it's just because it's such a foreign concept. That's going to be like a whole new learning experience, right? Something that I'm definitely open to.
And of course you would be open to it, because you like, whether you fucking are aware of it or not, you have love for literally everything around you. Your son, not just your son, all your kids.
Yeah.
Damien, Michael, Halliana. You have love for me. You have love for the rest of your family. You have love for my family. Yeah. You have love for all sorts of people. You have love for music. You have love for colors. You have love for animals. You have love for plants. Everything. Yeah. So if love were to motivate you, love were to give you willpower, it would be so much more empowering than relying on anger, which is a base primal emotion. Well, it's an emotion that comes from your lower chakras.
I feel like anger has like for me, it has a primal fire. To explain it better, so I have struggled with depression since I was like 11, 12 years old, and it was horrible. But and so my energy was down. I would always need to sleep. It sucked. But when he was going through his addiction, no matter what, no matter how shitty I felt, that all went away when I needed to do something for him, protect him, help him. And it was that stress of it and the anger of having to do it that drove me through each and every day, having to protect my son and everything.
Can I give you a different perspective, a different outlook? I would say, I would fucking posit that it was not your anger, it was not your stress that gave you willpower, but instead it was your love for me that gave you the willpower.
Okay, so yeah, okay, yes.
Hey, and one more thing. You had just got done saying how that your anger was like, it gave you this primal fire.
Yeah.
That's because anger comes from your lower two chakras, which are where your primal energies come from. And you want to be living in a state of,
you know what,
love. Your heart chakra is what you need to open. That's what this whole fourth density thing is all about, is your heart chakra. I just
realized that, so what it was it wasn't an anger, because there was an anger, but honestly, when I am most active, most productive, and then everything like that is not when I'm angry. It's when I am trying to protect.
Yeah. But that comes from love, Jordan.
Exactly. Yeah. So like, and that's what it was, because like I could be running off of 2 hours of sleep for a week and doing everything I needed for him and making sure our son was in school and had lunch and everything like that. And I was fine, and I did it, and all of this stuff. I went to university. I did it all, and it frustrates me now because like that I feel like I can't do that.
But it's your ego telling you.
Well, no, I know, but it's because I don't have to. I don't have to protect my son from what his father is doing. He's like she does freaking so much now, and now I kind of feel like I think it might be like I don't know what to do with myself. I feel freaking like useless.
Well, not, but you're not useless, and like I've been trying to show you.
But yeah,
each time you find yourself like lost and not sure what to do, I've tried to tell you like, look, like there's this. You don't need to like, because when you were in school, it was when you felt like the most fulfilled, right?
Yes,
but you can't.
I felt like I was bettering myself and my family.
All of that information is readily available to you with or without a fucking enrollment in a fucking class.
I'm aware of that, but I can't, like, it's as it sits right now, I can't get the qualifications.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about fuck the qualifications. Learning, because if you learn that shit right now and then say you get enrolled in school and like have the funding to do that, it will fucking come so much easier for you because you already understand it all. So
yeah, and I honestly I have been looking into every aspect of psychology and philosophy and everything like that since I was like 7, 8 years old.
Right, and we've been learning. We spend like fucking at least 60 to 70% of our free time researching, just for you guys.
And it's not even like, so even before we decided to do all of this, we did this anyways, just because it made us happy.
We couldn't be fucking sharing this with you if we just decided a couple weeks ago to talk to you about this stuff.
No, we love this stuff.
Years.
Like I used to when I was a kid, I would download psychology books and all of these self-help things just because I like to understand the human condition. I wanted to understand myself.
Right, and
it helped.
I just want to say, like, the whole psychology thing is interesting to learn, but it is very limiting. And all of these other holistic life sciences are way better, and they fucking really help you.
I feel like there's an amazing part of the growth of psychology that is like it's on the precipice, and if the I guess the older scientists will let go of what they decide needs to be true to validate themselves, and they opened it up to multidisciplinary like stuff
and integrate consciousness into their teachings,
like noetic sciences,
right?
Then there's a shift coming to expand to such an exponential rate it will rival the Industrial Revolution. But we just need to let it happen.
What I don't fucking understand is how come things like mindfulness and CBT aren't being taught in fucking schools. In elementary school, for fuck's sake.
There are some schools that teach it,
right? But not like this. And
no, like from what I've seen, it's like private schools and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's fucking nonsense.
So it's on parents to do that for right now.
So I want to just dive back into the points that I had about the ego. When people, like I said, how ego must be an unconscious movement. Your awareness stops it dead in its tracks. So once you start paying attention to it, it will be unable to use that particular trick against you, and it will desperately search for another trick, another clever, fucking devious little trick, and then you just got to keep watching.
It's like, so the ego is like the gas to your autopilot.
Right. And like, I want to, like, well, once we have our episode about meditation. I'll help you guys figure out how to start to become aware of all of it from each different angle and everything. And I want to say just particularly to Jordan and to you guys, y'all are gonna get fucking sick of hearing me say that's your ego. But whatever, it will help you. And if I can help point out your awareness of things, then like I'm not doing it to be annoying.
And the
and
big
I also
thing is self-awareness. Like, just be aware. If he says like this is your ego and you're doing it, just be like, okay, that's my ego. Don't try to freaking like fight against it.
No,
just
no,
be
no.
like, okay.
And that's why I brought up the beginner's mind at the beginning. Forget what you thought you knew. Just be open to this idea, and if it fucking helps you, then great. If it doesn't, forget about it. Whatever.
Take it in as if you were a child learning for the first time. And if you do that, trust me, like everything becomes fun.
Yeah, you
If
get
you
to
could
fucking
do that, like squishy fuzzy balls, I lost my mind. It was awesome.
You obtain this fucking level of appreciation for each thing.
Versus where your mind doesn't have what society has opposed on you
Right.
as a filter for everything else. If you can wipe that out, and like I remember when Damien was a baby, and we have videos of him, and we were walking him in the stroller, and he just birds. He would lose his mind. And he would laugh hysterically, and I want that for myself.
Right, and anytime, like whenever I think about the beginner's mind, that's exactly what I think about, is how babies are with their surroundings. They're so fascinated by all of it.
They're not tainted by expectations or what we think we need to do or need to be in order to fulfill some societal regulation,
right,
or whatever. I think society can't transcend the honestly fully crappy version that it's in, because nobody likes this. They can't fucking transcend it without wiping clear those filters. And if you just like, if you go about life looking at everything like the beautiful thing you've seen for the first time, and like everything's magic,
and
everything's gonna be great.
With regard to the ego, whatever any of you psychologists out there know about what Freud says about the ego, the superego, and the id, fucking put that shit away for just a few minutes while we talk about this, because that motherfucker had some sort of sexual issue with his fucking mother.
He had an Oedipus complex, and that's why everything fucking,
and it's all shaded.
But I think most psychologists know that.
Right, but like, just please be open to these ideas and take them for what they are.
Research them, expand on them.
When a person is in a state of egoic identity, which is basically 99% of people, you are reactive to things. When you have true self and true awareness, you become responsive. And I don't need to tell you all you guys the difference between the two. When you react, you act a fool, and when you're responsive, you use your melon.
Yeah, the brain you were evolved into versus the one that like the monkeys have.
Right. When you're responsive, you have access to your inner knowledge and your intuition.
Yeah, when it comes to the reactive stuff, and that plays very much into defensiveness. If you go into every interaction, whether it's a familial interaction, with relationship with a stranger on the street or whatever, if you look at every interaction that somebody has with you as an attack on you, you will feel like it is an attack on you. You will develop this defense mechanism, and essentially you will become a fucking asshole. So you need to realize that all of these things, it's not like 99% of them, it's not personal. It's not an attack on you or anything like that. Just like let stuff go and keep walking.
Jordan has mentioned defense mechanisms a couple times now, and I'm fucking like, I want to get to that point in my notes before we wrap this up tonight. At the very least, I've got quite a bit to go, but let's fucking the next one is and we already talked about this. Once you're in fight or flight, you do no longer have access to your frontal lobe. It is completely fucking cut off to you. Okay? We've said that a few times. I just want to point out what your frontal lobe is responsible for. It is central to all conscious thought, self awareness, and executive functions such as decision making, problem solving, goal setting, as well as several other vital functions like fucking how to just like how to go about relating with people. And
essentially it leaves you in a state where um you're a caveman and there's a freaking cheetah
not
trying
even
to
a
come
caveman.
into the cave.
You're the fucking cheetah.
And oh, okay, yeah.
Like
and
you're
you
an
just
animal.
like fuck this, I want to eat, and that's it. It's so primal.
Yeah.
And it's like, honestly, like you're better than this. Come on, think.
The thing that makes humans different from all other animals is our frontal lobe.
Our ability to reason.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And by cutting you off from your frontal lobe, you become a meat puppet slave to your ego's fucking bullshit.
You know what I used to say to, like, Cody, I love you, but like, because I was a royal bitch to my little brother, and I used to always say to him, like, holy fuck, you missed a stage in evolution. Do not be the person that somebody can say that about, and other people can be like, yeah, no shit, hey, don't do it.
So now those are the points I wanted to just about what your ego is. What I want to say now is forgiveness is the ultimate undoing of your ego. Aaron Abke puts it really well, and I'm not going to put forgiveness in the title or description of this video because nobody wants to hear that shit. And it's not that nobody wants to hear it, it's that your fucking ego is so against forgiveness that it will turn you off from it. I won't even get any likes on this video if I do that because your ego has control over you.
That's like what I said before, is like forgiveness is not about giving a pass to the person who hurt you.
Right.
What it is giving you the power, taking your power back from the person who hurt you.
I'll jump ahead to that part then.
Okay.
Because so the ego will tell you that forgiveness is weakness because you're letting someone get away with hurting you and accepting that what was done was right.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, so when it comes to that, if somebody freaking did something horrible to hurt you in the past, right? You can't change that. Mm-hmm. That has happened. It is there. So you have two choices. One, you can give complete and utter soul power to that and spend the rest of your life living from that, or you can strengthen yourself and be like, fuck that person, I'm better than this. And that's your two choices.
Right. And like that's kind of a fucking very harsh way of looking at it, but like let's word it like this.
Work for me.
Forgiveness is power instead of weakness because it says I am too valuable to be hurt by you because it sees that person is hurt themselves and offloading their pain onto me.
And now, their hurt is their own problem,
right?
Not yours.
That is a very fucking powerful point that there was a reason why I was saving it for you guys because there's a whole lot that needs to come before that for you to fully understand it. But I'm going to say one more quick thing that just kind of accents what Jordan was saying. Why would you disempower yourself by believing that you are somebody's victim?
Yes. Okay, so a big thing that I have heard many times is, because I've had a lot of, things happen to me or whatever, and I heard like, why do you still have a relationship with this person? Why are you okay with it? Da 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 da. Why do you still talk to them? I would hate them, whatever. And for me, what happened was I got what I needed, which was an acknowledgement and like, I know I was wrong, I'm sorry, or whatever. And I know most people, they won't get that or whatever, but what it did for me was, I, even before I got those things, I found my own personal empowerment where I didn't want to identify with the harm that was done to me when I was younger, especially when it came to a lot of women have issues with like rape and stuff like that. What I did with it was I decided they may have taken that moment from me, but they're not taking me from me. By gone, I'm empowered and move on. And it really, really, it really helps. You're not forgiving the person for the action that they're doing. Essentially, you're forgiving yourself for um for empowering the trauma for as long as you did.
Can I word it in a different way?
Yes.
Like, yeah. This is my own words, and I've been saying this to my loved ones for a couple years now. And mom, again, fucking forgive, please. Because, and I'm not saying forgive me because I know you already have, but forgive everybody else. And forgiveness is not about the other person. It's not about fucking forgiving them.
You don't even have to tell them you
right,
forgive
exactly.
them.
You're not forgiving them for their benefit. You're forgiving because what your fucking hatred and your anger and all of that bullshit and stress does to you. When you forgive, you let go of all that shit. You deserve to be fucking happy. That's why you should forgive people.
Essentially, you can sit there and just be like, instead of looking at it as forgiveness, because that word, a lot of people think implies, you're forgiving the perpetrator of the trauma. But if you look at it as like, I'm taking a point where I'm taking myself back from this,
right,
and letting it go. You're taking, because if when you don't do that, no matter how long it's been since the trauma, you will constantly be feeding your power to that, and that in itself will be constantly feeding itself back to you.
And so where you place your energy and your focus, or sorry, where you place your focus and your attention is where you place your energy. And would you really want to give all of your energy to somebody who hurt you?
Or something negative.
You just said like you don't want to fucking use the word forgiveness because of people's misconceptions of it. But what I want to do is change people's
misconceptions.
Right. Yeah. So forgiveness, like I said, is the ultimate undoing of the ego. Guilt, we're going to talk about guilt and blame because that is where forgiveness needs to come in.
Does resentment fall into that one?
Of course it does. But so guilt triggers the fight or flight response, which the ego uses to steal your energy and in turn enhancing your belief in separation. We've already kind of talked about that shit. The ego assigns thoughts on the person or the event that caused the fight or flight, like blame, hatred, anger. And then when you are reminded of that trigger, your body can't tell the difference between the actual event or the memory. You continue to relive the event every single time you fucking think about the event or the person that did it.
Okay, you know what that reminds me of? When we were first together, and I would get fucking drunk and I would flip the fuck out as if you were beating me.
Yeah.
And you never were, but I fucking reacted in the way as if you were.
Remembering past traumas from your other relationships.
Yeah, and it kept for years and years that kept going.
And emotionally, you were being beat.
Yeah. Yeah, because like in my head, that's what was
like your body, your emotions responded as if you were actually being physically beat by me, even though I wasn't even fucking coming anywhere near doing something like that to you.
No.
And yeah, so like, and that's an extreme. That's like an extreme example.
Yeah, that's like not only muscle memory, but like a the brain changing where it believes, regardless of external circumstances, that in these conditions where, like I had drank too much, that no matter what, this is what happens.
And that's what we were speaking on earlier, how once you're cut off from your frontal lobe, your limbic brain, it literally cannot tell the difference between the emotions and what's like once you're in fight or flight, you can't tell the difference between something happening or whether you're remembering something happening. Your body legitimately believes that that event is taking place right now.
Yeah, I jumped out a fucking window for no reason.
So this whole trait that we were just talking about, how you assign these thoughts and emotions to the person in the event, this is all uniquely fucking human. Animals, you will not see an animal in the wild plotting revenge on a cheetah because that cheetah ate your relative. They don't do that. That's because it's your fucking ego making you fucking do those things.
And another cheetah can freaking eat your babies and fuck your man, and that cheetah won't do shit.
Right.
It just happened and they go on.
It's survival. That's all they do. So before I want to talk any more about forgiveness, I need to talk to you guys more in depth about guilt. Because guilt and blame are the same thing. Guilt is yourself, blame is fucking placing guilt on other people. And there's these two laws of guilt that are recognized in the field of these life sciences that we're trying to share with you guys. And the first one is that all pain that is not healed will be offloaded, because pain is toxic and your body and your mind just inherently will not hang on to it. They will find a way to offload it on either people around you, or most people, because they feel like they don't want to offload their pain on others, will find a way to perpetuate the cycle by offloading it on themselves with things like self-loathing, depression, self-harm, and addiction.
Yeah. It's the concept of hurt people.
Right, exactly. And we talked about that when we talked about CBT. Judgment is the attempt to make yourself or oneself innocent by making other people fucking guilty. Okay? The second law of guilt is that the mind gets rid of pain by causing pain. So
offloading.
By offloading pain. Yeah. So it's just the second law is converse to the first law. People, so first of all, when you're experiencing pain, you will offload it. If somebody is fucking causing you pain, it is because they are offloading it.
That's what like we were saying earlier about when it comes to having a fight in a relationship. You can't have constructive conversation when you are in the heat of a fight, because you're going to say things to each other, and when a person feels hurt, you are going to say whatever you could think of to hurt that other person, to reflect the kind of hurt that they're causing you, and it's going to go back and forth and back and forth.
Right.
Nothing's going to come out of it, and everybody's just be hurt and pissed off.
It's an endless cycle, whether you're doing it to somebody else or you're doing it to yourself.
And you can definitely do it to yourself.
Oh yeah. Here's the fucking punchline for me. The system that our minds create for offloading pain onto others are called, say it, baby.
What?
Defense mechanisms.
Oh, okay. I can't even fucking. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But yeah. And defense mechanisms are one of the main things that contribute to the inability to connect and progress in a relationship.
For sure. And so, like, for the different defense mechanisms and what they all can be, I'll talk to you guys about that another time. That those teachings, they'll be more CBT based, mindfulness based, NLP based,
personal experience based.
that too. But I'm not going to dive into what they are. I'm just going to talk to you guys a little bit about what, like their roots and everything. So people are not their roots, how they relate to judgment and forgiveness. So yeah, people cannot be held responsible for their defense mechanisms. And I know there's going to be people out there fucking shouting at me. And bullshit. No, she says bullshit, but I'll explain to you why. Because they are the result of a lifetime of conditioning, and they simply have no awareness of them. You can't blame somebody for something they're unaware of. That is fucking nonsense and insanity. So, and like, I'm not just saying that as my own personal opinion. Even if you go to fucking court and somebody's being charged with something, if you can literally prove that they were unaware of what was going on, whether it be because of some type of fucking mental illness, or some type of inebriation from some sort of addiction, their sentence will either be fucking completely commuted or it will be reduced. And that is because when you're not aware, you're not yourself. That's the whole fucking point of enlightenment and awakening and all of that shit. So, with all of that said, forgiveness is the voice of reason that breaks the cycle of guilt and blame that your ego's created. I just want to say briefly, because Jordan was so against my point there, how people cannot be held responsible for their defense mechanisms when she does come back out from taking a piss. I'm going to repeat that for her so she can fucking hear it for herself, because this is a learning experience for all of us together. And I'm sorry that you guys have to hear me say it twice, but it's worth it. Oh, look, there she is.
The fuck did I
do now? Nothing. You tried to oppose or disagree with my point where I said that people people cannot be held responsible for their defense mechanisms. Mm-hmm. And that is simply because defense mechanisms are a result of a lifetime of conditioning, and people who are using their defense mechanisms are unaware of the fact that they are doing so. Okay. And in order to blame somebody for something that they are completely unaware of is fucking insanity. And even the court of law proves that, because if you can fucking prove that you were not aware of something that you just did, they will commute your sentence or reduce it.
Okay.
Sit back, please.
Now listen. So, no. Yeah, no, I look stupid. Anyways, okay, so I say no because
fuck that.
I mean, sure, in some fucking instances, maybe. However, in for a person who has self-awareness, no. So for
listen, somebody who has self-awareness simply won't be using their ego, won't be using their defense mechanisms.
And no, because you and I both had self-awareness, and you and I both used our defense mechanisms.
I disagree. We weren't aware of the defense mechanisms ourselves. And the side of you right now that is disagreeing with my point is your ego. So,
isn't that fucking convenient?
It is convenient and it's annoying, but I'm gonna fucking keep repeating it. Because, like, for real, in all honesty, if let's say you're on this path of transcending your ego, right? Mm-hmm. And on the path of, enlightenment and awakening, mm-hmm. and you were trying to welcome all types of love, quit it. And you were living fully within your heart chakra, mm-hmm. or above. Mm-hmm. People who are literally using their defense mechanisms to offload their pain, you would only feel sorry for them, and you wouldn't be willing to place blame on them.
Okay, so I don't automatically assume that somebody is using defense mechanisms to offload their pain.
That is what they are.
I feel like, from what I have experienced, a lot of defense mechanisms are put up to hide their pain from the person that they're dealing with.
But
they're putting that up so that they don't show their perceived weakness. So, like with you and I, where when I would say something was wrong or whatever, and you would get defensive about it, that made you aware of it. But you kept doing it. It took you a little while before.
No. It didn't make me aware of it because what happened was my ego was responding to you with my defense mechanism, offloading the pain that I have regarding whatever it was we were talking about. And that was a completely unconscious response.
Okay, I see like defense mechanisms, and I mean not all of them, because definitely like what you said, it's definitely that as well. But a lot of defense mechanisms are, and they get employed not just in like an argument thing, but many times throughout somebody's day-to-day interactions that a lot of people wouldn't notice, and it's there to protect themselves from what they don't want the other to see, to view them as weak or less than.
Okay, so
and that is like a person.
Like I said, we're like in a later episode, we're going to go through each defense mechanism that is out there, right? Because it is all within our the CBT correspondence that we have.
Yeah.
But this like defense mechanisms in this fucking system that we're talking about are all ways that somebody offloads pain. And by trying to hide some sort of inadequacy, perceived inadequacy in oneself, is a form of pain.
Yes.
And is a form of, whether you're offloading it by directing it to the person who you're talking to, or by
just trying to just
reflecting it back towards yourself.
Yeah.
Because you and I both are fully aware of the whole concept of projection, right?
Oh yeah.
Right?
And very much.
So when you...
And we've experienced that a lot. Like I do that a lot when I'm freaking really angry and I don't know what to do with it. Like we'll fight, and then he'll be like, "Oh shit."
But like projection is like, if you believe you're guilty and you not even sorry, if you believe you're guilty, if you are seeing some form of guilt in another person, it is simply because you are projecting your own guilt and your own feelings on another person.
I disagree.
That is a fucking...
No. Okay, no, it's not that I disagree. I do agree. However, I also think that if you are perceiving something in somebody, it could also be maybe a form of paranoia, or a conscious like stream of thoughts that stem from previous behaviors that you have used to validate your worries and concerns, which creates a problem that might not be there.
You just explained projection, though. You just worded it in a way that was like you tried to pass off. So like,
here, wait, let me explain this. So like when you relapse, right?
Yeah.
And every single time you relapse, you try really, really hard to make sure that I don't know you relapse.
Sure.
But because of past behaviors and things, I have learned the signs of it. I could talk to you for 2 seconds and know it happened, and not.
But what does that have to do with fucking recognizing guilt in somebody else?
No. So what I'm saying is, the patterns of behavior have kind of stringed a thing together that these things lead to this. So if say you're like a partner is like cheating or even just like talking to somebody that they shouldn't be or whatever, if um that's happened before and there are strings of certain patterns that are happening now, then the conclusion to that, whether it is the truth or not, it's more balanced towards that probably is what it is because of
I think like
past patterns.
Yeah, I think what you're trying to do is find a definition that places the blame outside of yourself. And I believe, and I'm sorry for saying it again, but I believe that it's your ego doing that to yourself. Me and you have had this talk about projections so many fucking times, and I know that you're a proponent of it. All things that we see outside of ourselves are projections of how we feel about ourselves.
Okay, question. So, how is me seeing the pattern leading to your relapse a projection of me when I never hated? How is that? How does that correlate?
I'll tell you right now. How many times have you relapsed with alcohol? Or
I went 10 years without doing it.
But then you did it.
Yes, I know that. But what I'm saying is, no. But of all the times that you relapse, say within that 10-year
process, that doesn't matter though, because how many times have you made mistakes in your life that were something that it doesn't even need to be a relapse, but you committed to doing something and then you went back against your commitment. That's what a relapse is.
So many times.
So then that's your projection.
Right, but like tell me how where say because there have been over like a 10-year span.
It doesn't matter about time, baby.
Okay, sorry. Okay, whatever. But over whatever, there have been a sequential like events which are patterned and repeated many, many times that have always led to the same conclusion. How is that a projection from me?
But so if you're putting blame on me for relapsing, you're fucking with shit. Sorry. If you're putting blame on me for relapsing and you're recognizing that blame, it is because you have some sort of blame within yourself for some sort of choice that you decided you were gonna do and then you went back on your word. That's all it is. It can boil down to something as simple as that.
And something as simple as that can lead to a fucking argument.
What?
Nothing. I want to know, like, I want details.
So anything, like, so let's say when you were fucking 12 years old, you decided, I'm not gonna fucking be a bully to my brother anymore. And then your brother did something fucking ridiculous and you smacked him upside the fucking head. Okay. That is what I'm talking about. Okay, there is some sort of fucking inherent guilt within yourself that you are recognizing in other people. Okay. And this goes both ways.
Projection. No, I get that. So what I want to know is, okay, so if you take that projection away, if I wasn't trying to like project on you, if you and I weren't even together, but you were in addiction, so if you can't take the reason for your addiction to be something I unconsciously did when I was younger, so then what?
Sorry, repeat yourself.
Okay. So if you can't take the reason for your say there's one relapse, one specific relapse, right? So if I see all these signs and I know you're going to relapse and you relapse. But if me seeing those signs is a projection because of something I went through before, if you take if you take all that away, you still have the relapse. So if you take the excuse of my projection away from it, you still have the relapse.
Okay, so why? First of all, there is no excuse when it comes to projection. And I'm not talking about you recognizing a relapse. I'm talking about you passing blame for a relapse.
Okay, no, what I mean is, so if that's not there, if there isn't that blame, but the relapse is still there. So then what do you have?
Who? What does who have?
You in your relapse. If there isn't a projection or a blame or somebody trying to anybody, whether it be me or your mom or whatever, if that isn't there,
but that's
and
not
it's
what
still
we're
just
talking about.
you and your relapse.
What I'm talking about is
is
how people perceive the world around them.
Okay.
So for myself, when I relapse, that is my own fucking deal. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
But if you were to, first of all, recognize my relapse or see it coming beforehand or whatever, that's your awareness. Right. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. But as soon as you try to blame me for my relapse, that is where projection comes into play.
Blame you for your relapse before you relapsed?
Whenever. Blame, period. As soon as blame becomes a part of your mental construct, you're projecting. No?
I don't know.
You can't, so you can't recognize, and like I was trying to say, this goes both ways. You can't recognize any negative traits outside of you that you don't feel for yourself, and you can't recognize any positive traits outside of you that you don't feel for yourself.
I agree.
That's projection.
I completely understand that. Just because we have like an addiction to, or we have a propensity to, like, we gravitate to one addiction or another. We both gravitate to one or another.
So, but you're focusing far too much on addiction, and that's not what I'm talking about. I've been like, what I'm trying to say is, with this whole the idea of forgiveness and guilt and blame, whenever you are trying to, or whenever you perceive blame for anybody or anything around you, it is because there is some fucking inner guilt that you have not processed. It is not something.
I get it. No, I get it. Don't wreck it. I get it.
Okay.
Oh, that fucking screws me up really bad though.
See, and that's what
because now I feel guilt for all your addiction.
No, that's crazy. That's the opposite of what I just fucking told you. Fuck, come here. And like, that's why I'm fucking so happy that we're doing this on recording, because whenever there's like this disconnect on like what we understand, we can like explain it to one another until we do, and that's gonna help somebody intensely.
Okay, so like, what I want to know is, so if I can't, like, and I know I keep going back to this, but see, like, everything was going good, like in Fort, right?
Yeah.
Everything was going great. And then you relapsed. If you take away the word blame and replace it with the word reason.
But those aren't interchangeable.
See, but like for me it is.
How? Explain it.
Because when you have a reason, it is either.
So hang on. Let me try to put it so that people fully understand, because we're reading into each other's heads.
Yes.
Without divulging.
Yeah.
So in Fort Saskatchewan, things were going good. We were both in school and everything, and then I relapsed. Okay, you're asking about. So here's what it is. Your resentment for me following that event, or even as it was building up. Honestly, and you were recognizing it.
Resentment of all your relapses. That's the only one I have.
Right, but like, I beat myself up for all of them. But like, so the resentment is where your blame and your passing guilt comes from, right? And so, what is it that you're trying to ask about my reasoning behind it? Well, also, because that has nothing to do with what you were feeling.
But also, you told me that every one of your relapses was my fault.
Well, and so that was a very fucking unevolved thing for me to say to you.
But like, I want to,
because that's nonsense.
what I'm saying is like what I want to know is
Okay,
like
here we go. We're fucking now we went from teaching you guys to learning ourselves and having like a full blown um conflict essentially.
this is exactly what
And
it should be between you and whoever this is the rawness that it should be.
and we didn't expect this, and this is kind of why we both had the idea to have a couple drinks while we did this episode, because what we wanted was for it to be extremely raw for you guys. And now we're gonna like give you an example of conflict resolution.
And apparently it's gonna be a big one.
Yeah, because this is a
like
big one for sure.
Yeah. So
well, wait, let me just explain what yes, because we've been together 12 years. Like I said, I struggled with addiction for at least 10 of those years.
What kind of addiction?
With fentanyl, opioids, whatever, and it was really bad. And that wasn't the only one, but so Jordan had this whole caregiver complex where she felt like she had to take care of me and everything. And if it wasn't for her being so devoted to that, I wouldn't be alive today.
But it wasn't just the whole caregiver complex. I had this inner knowing that honestly I've never experienced before in my entire life. But it was this inner knowing that this world, this earth, this experience, this density, whatever, could not, should not, and won't flourish and without him in it. And regardless of whatever happened between us or whatever, I was not willing to deprive the world of him.
And she was essentially my living guardian angel because of that belief, that inner knowing that she had. But like, let's do this. Let's break this conflict down. It's not even really a conflict.
It's just like it's a discussion. It's an emotional discussion.
It's a misunderstanding, is what it is. So let's fucking level.
Okay, so like for me, like because like I said, you had said that all of your relapses were my fault.
Right, and now, like, please, before you continue, I want to apologize for saying that. And like I said, it was an unevolved way of looking at things. And can I explain it real briefly?
Yes.
So
yeah, because I think I have a fucking eyelash in my eyeball. So you explain that while I get this
each
out.
time that I had relapse was because of my own insecurities and my own loneliness. It all happened when Jordan was not available to me because she was either visiting family
reunion.
Actually, I think that was pretty much it. But so it was all poorly timed. She would leave me because her family were such fucking hateful, spiteful, fucking unforgiving, low level fucking demons. They wouldn't let me come to these Christmas dinners and stuff like that. So I would be left, and I felt completely abandoned.
I would take our son with us
in my house, completely alone, without my fucking my better half, my partner in life, and my son, who is like
I just want to make
my
it
everything.
Clear that in that regard, that was my mom's side of the family, not my dad's.
Well, I've been excluded from fucking both sides of your family up until recently, but so like I said, I apologize for putting it on you in that level, and I didn't mean it by it was your fault, but the lack thereof of you and Damien led to my insecurities and my loneliness overcoming me,
which is why I made, like, after a while and everything like that, I tried to kind of guide you on the whole path of self-love and being okay with
so I've always kind of been okay with being with myself, but I've always needed that connection. Like I can be alone, but I need that connection. And between having you ripped away from me and Damien ripped away from me, you guys don't even understand. Damien is my everything, and Jordan is my everything. And without also, the two of them, I feel completely fucking lost and heartbroken.
When I was at my mother's, a lot of the time I was very much scolded or had my phone taken from me or whatever.
Yeah,
so that I was not
literally
completely
unavailable to me.
Yeah. So that is where I guess my part came in.
I swallowed that the wrong way. I apologize for blaming it like that on you. And that's just a perfect example of how my ego was in control. My ego was my addiction for the longest time.
Yeah.
We had that talk earlier. How
I was doing a lot of research, and a lot of addicts who are very deep into addiction, and when they're asked why they don't quit, it's because, and they say it's because they don't have control over their addiction anymore. Their addiction has control over them.
That was so true.
They consciously, they will like scream at themselves like, I want to quit, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. But like, it's like they don't have control of their body, their faculties anymore, where they're doing these things, and even though in their mind they're like, don't do this, I hate this, or whatever. And it's like a split personality thing.
It's a form of fight or flight because it's flight. Yeah. You're escaping, right? You're trying to escape from everything, and you're no longer accessible to your fucking frontal lobe. So there's no reasoning. There's none of that shit.
And it's definitely fight or flight. Like with you were constantly in the state of like, you needed to be prepared to flee and at a moment's notice. And nobody who
constantly, like, unless the people who are listening have an understanding of opioid addiction, they won't know exactly what we're talking about. A lot of other addictions are like relative to, but they're nowhere near the extreme levels. But I want to go back to, because you were saying about this, you were relating my reasons for my relapse, which again, that was a miscommunication. And if I were to reevaluate, it was my insecurities that caused my relapses, not you. Okay. So that's with more awareness. But you had a question about how the reason of my relapse can relate to the way you were sort of blaming me for my relapse.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, my blame, which led to resentment, was like, so, when you're in addiction, you're kind of in this autopilot or whatever, but you had gotten out of it for like a while, and then
3 years at one point, almost.
Yeah, but not the fourth time.
Not that time.
That was like
it was
9
only
months?
11 months.
Okay, yeah.
It was 11.
So it was like, what I looked at it as was, you made
a conscious decision.
Choice to do so. There's many people, especially when they first fall into addiction or whatever, they like what happened with me when I first like tried fentanyl. I didn't know what it was, and then all of a sudden I was like, shit, like I can't get sick, I have responsibilities, and then it perpetuated.
Right.
But you and both of us had been through a lot of hell and everything like that. We were both doing really, really well. And then you decided to relapse, and what I came home to. So the blame is that you took something great and you destroyed it of your own free will.
Right. And so again, like I said, I became over empowered by my.
It felt like you didn't lose anything, but I lost everything.
But that's a fucking. I'm sorry, but that's a crock of shit.
But I'm saying like that's how I felt.
Right, but like, that's not true.
Because I was still there for you, and Damien was still there and everything. But,
let me just say, everything that you lost, I lost, plus more.
But it didn't mean as much.
That's not true at all. That's another complete fabrication of your mind and your ego.
You always give me shit for my materialism.
I'm not talking about the material shit. None of that fucking mattered to me.
Exactly, but it mattered to me.
No, but what matters to you matters to me. So it wasn't the material shit. It wasn't any of that. It was your heartbreak that affected me. Okay. It was Damien's loss that affected me. It was what I did to my family in turn of all of that affected me. And then from there, I went to my brother's house and I completely devastated him and his children. And then I ended up in BC for a whole other 6 to 9 months of fucking a bunch of other bullshit that completely fucked my life up. So everything that you lost, I lost plus more. Yeah. And if you were to pass blame and hold,
like if you look at, like if you go back to the beginning of it, is at its core for me, you making that choice to relapse. I go to a family reunion.
But can I explain it?
That. And so, that's where my
sure, I may at the whole, like when I was clean and sober that whole time in Fort, was fully conscious and fully aware of everything that I was doing. That was when I first dove into mindfulness and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you into all of it, right, and the law of one and all that. As soon as you left to go to BC, and I was what I felt was abandoned. I was no longer aware of anything. I was in fight or flight. And I made these decisions against my well-being because it was my ego that was now in control, not myself, not my consciousness, not my self-awareness. I was no longer there.
Okay.
It became an autonomic response.
You were just in panic mode the whole time.
It was an autonomic response to my situation, my perceived situation.
But but it wasn't. But it happened before I left because that allergic reaction you started.
No, so I was, yeah, okay, and people are gonna fucking roll their eyes at this, but I was just doing like coke at the time because it was kind of fun and it was helping me get through my schoolwork.
Yeah, and we had a bunch of extra stuff. Like it sat in there for.
Yeah, I had it for fucking months and months on end. I wasn't addicted to it. No. But when I relapsed, it was when I relapsed on my drug of choice, the problem drug, fentanyl.
Yeah.
So that's, you say it happened before, but it didn't.
Well, no, I guess it was in those before, but yeah.
And so all of that was a response of my ego, and it was the lack of my awareness and the resentment that you had towards me. Was what? You still have it?
After everything? Just a tiny bit. I'm trying to let it go.
Well, so once you realize what I'm trying to tell you, that resentment, which is essentially a form of blame.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Is a projection of something inside of you that you are upset about or that you are resentful of.
Okay, but what is it?
Any mistake that you have made, any commitment where you've completely fucking taken something and crumbled it.
There has to be a correlation between.
It doesn't need to be anything specific, Jordan. How many times have you had something great and then lost it because of the choice you made? It's as simple as that.
The one major thing I can think of, and it's just going to perpetuate this exact same cycle, is me going to school and I crumbled it because I made the choice to save you from your addiction.
No, that's nonsense. What about when you were a teenager and you and literally, it doesn't need to be.
I quit school?
Maybe? There you go. Or it could be something even smaller than that. Like you had,
I don't even know.
You had help. Like here's another one. You had help from your grandmother, and you made fucking stupid decisions.
Oh my god, that's the hugest one of my life.
Right, you made decisions that in turn made you lose something positive.
That fucks my shit every day. Okay, so what do I do about it?
What you do about it is you forgive yourself, you forgive me, you forgive everything around you.
Okay, so like I'm like 99% through forgiving you.
No, but I don't care. Like I don't want you to forgive me for me. I want you to do it for yourself, and I want you to forgive everything else.
Honestly, and this is gonna sound cold-hearted, but like it's fucking not for you.
Right? And honestly. No, and that's fine. But here's like I can't believe how perfect the timing is of this. But the very next point on my fucking list is that forgiveness is the voice of reason that breaks the cycle of guilt and blame that your ego created.
Okay, so what I need to work on, I think, like after all of this stuff, one of the main things I need to work on, and please remind me of this, is it's not about me forgiving other people, because I think I've done that for the most part. If I can forgive my dad and my mom and you, I'm good.
Yeah.
But what I'm having a hard time with is forgiving myself.
Right.
So that's a big one I'm gonna work on.
Okay.
I'll let y'all know how it goes.
Remember what I just said. I'm gonna repeat it one more time. Forgiveness is the voice of reason that breaks that cycle of guilt and blame.
Yeah. Okay? That makes sense. I like that. That makes me feel so much better. I love you so much.
That's why I fucking wanted to do this and wait. I waited so long to tell you these things. I wanted to tell you them for at least a week now, and I've been waiting. So forgiveness awakens us to reality, teaching us that the past is over and doesn't serve us in any way. That's another thing that should help you, right?
Yeah, I need to fucking let go of the past, because like I take the past, whereas like negative patterns that have led to something really negative, I unconsciously search for those patterns.
No, and not unconsciously. I watch you do it.
Yeah.
On purpose, and you try to define them in ways like you try to look for all these intricate fucking interwoven fucking.
But like it's not that, because so all these patterns, they have all connected and led to the exact same thing. So what I end up doing is I look for these patterns because I'm scared of this result, and whenever I see these patterns, it makes me panic about a result. However, I'm still doing it when the result never comes to fruition, like lately, right? Ever since you've been doing good. And so I'm still in this like panic fight or flight, like I need to watch my back, but for absolutely no fucking reason.
So I think there's lots of work to be done here, and we'll process all of this information, let it set in for a week before we do our next episode.
Yeah, we are doing.
All right, and I just want to make one last point, because there is quite a bit more that I have about forgiveness and stuff, but all I really want to say, and the ego, all I want to say is I'm going to end it with something perfect. I made a post about this for anybody who hasn't read my Facebook. In the fucking Bible, Jesus says, and hold on, here's the misconceived the quote that everybody thinks was said was, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." That's not what it says in the Bible. Sorry. It says, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." And that's with regards to the motherfuckers who crucified him and murdered him. And so he was asking God to forgive them, and himself, he forgave them for murdering him.
Yep.
Because he knew deep down inside that those motherfuckers were hurting, and they were just offloading their hurt onto him.
Yep.
We love you guys. Thank you for listening. We can't wait. We'll have another one up within a week at the very latest, hopefully sooner. Check out all of our fucking social medias. We Instagram, Facebook, and we also have a GoFundMe going so we can get our nonprofit organization, MorningStar enlightenment and wellness up and running and registered and incorporated with the government. If you guys want to look at that, I will share the links for that shit. I'll also share some links to Joe Dispenza's work and Aaron Apke's work, because we discuss those things in here, and the website link to Ions. What was it? Noetic dot.
The Institute of Noetic Sciences.
Right. I'll share that link with you guys as well, and anything else that comes to mind. We love you guys. Have a good night.